Hi, friends. I just wanted to take a quick pause and share with you something I've been so excited to share. I'm now officially a certified psychedelic practitioner. As you know, this work truly lights me up. I love meeting people no matter where they are in their journey, whether they're just curious about plant medicine and microdosing or looking to take a deeper dive. All of my offerings can be experienced in person or virtually, so we can work together no matter where you live. I'm currently offering 3 programs. The first is Bloom, which is a guided microdosing journey. This program is meant to spark clarity, creativity, and emotional balance. Awaken is a program for those looking to do a deeper dive with medicine. I offer a ceremonial breakthrough experience designed to open new perspectives and shift what's possible in your life. And with Rebirth, my most immersive journey, it combines a ceremonial breakthrough experience followed by ongoing microdosing integration, so your transformation takes root and really starts to grow. Every single journey is held with deep intention, safety, and care. If something in you feels called, trust that feeling. Head on over to mindsonmushrooms.com/work with me to view my offerings and learn more. Thank you. Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Minds on Mushrooms. I'm your host, Maggie Kirkwood, and today I have the beautiful honor and privilege of sitting here with Bird Mieha. She works as a medicine woman. And Bird, thank you so much for joining today. I'm going to have you just take it away from here. I'd love to hear a little bit more about what you can offer. I know that your medicine is cacao, and we each have a little today. So thank you so much for joining. So beautiful to see you. Welcome.
Maggie, my sister, such a pleasure to be with you here today. Thank you for that opportunity. So you introduced me as a medicine woman. I have to say that my mother was Mexican. She has unexpectedly passed a few years ago, but on my indigenous Mexican side, I am the first in 500 years that can safely say I work as a medicine woman. And why is this important? Because if you're watching this, you likely come from a lineage in your own lineage, regardless of your ancestry, that was also medicine women. And what is a medicine woman, right? A medicine woman in our lineages were the women that were the herbalists, right? They were the birth doulas. They were the death doulas. They were the wise women. They were the oracles. They were the women that were connected to the plants and to the animals and to our hearts, right? And the powers that be in time, kind of from place to place, some of us might have to dig in 1,500 years ago, and some of us more recently. So in my lineage, I also have 14 other lineages in my DNA. So I've got all kind of things. One of my passions is for us human beings to heal ourselves and to unite. And then, for us to remember what our medicine is. When I look at medicine, and I love the medicine that you work with, right? It's helping so many people, right? But, we're going to talk about cacao as one of the medicines I like to work with, and some of the other plants. But all of us have our own medicine, right? Some of us are really good, are discovering that we're actually good with their hands and we can heal with their hands. Some of us are discovering that, we're good teachers, right? We're good wisdom keepers, or we have a specialty with really opening our hearts. We're super empathic and we can feel and we can teach. So this is a remembrance for all of us. I proudly say that I work as a medicine woman.
Oh, well, that is so beautiful. And yeah, I'm just really excited for many things. First and foremost, I really appreciate the work that you do. And I would love, we're living in such chaotic times, not only with the entire world, but we all have our own personal battles as well and heartaches. And I really want to touch upon, some of these modalities that you can teach to help regulate our nervous systems. But first, I'm really intrigued and interested to learn exactly how it was, or, your calling for cacao and what makes you so passionate about that medicine?
Well, it was interesting. My mother, as deaf, was actually the precursor for me connecting with cacao. 6 years ago, my mother, and I had already been working in lots of alternative healing modalities. I have a couple master's degrees. I also have psychotherapy, graduate work in psychotherapy. So I've been working in the field for a long time, and I'm trained in lots of healing modalities, Reiki and Shakti Nam Yoga and breathwork. So I've been doing this for years. But 6 years ago, my mother went into the doctor for a stomach ache. And, her parents, my abuelitos, lived until they were in their 90s. So we thought she was in perfect health. And she received a 4-stage cancer diagnosis, and she died 35 days later.
Wow.
And so, but my mother's death, changed my life in really profound ways, because a few months later, she started coming to me. I'm very clairaudient, so for me, it was hearing and claircognizance and knowing. She started coming to me and guiding me, and that's actually what got me to start working in some of my indigenous. My mother was Mexican, so a lot of Mexicans are of mixed ancestry, right? So she had indigenous Mexican, she had African, she had Spanish, a lot of different things. But she started leading me towards discovering that of my indigenous side from Mexico. And so the way cacao came to me, I had actually been to a cacao ceremony years before, and I was like, I don't get this. This is weird. Like, what? I'm just having some. And so I was like, and someone came to me on Instagram. I've been building up a following. Actually, was told years ago when I was starting my healing journey. I was in an abusive marriage for a long time, and when I was starting that process with my clients, I heard a voice that said, "Part of your life purpose is to inspire people on social media with photos and videos."
Wow.
Problem was, though, was my greatest fear my entire life was being on camera. Like, I was that girl and that young woman that the camera came out, and I was like this. So anyway, I had been doing this journey, and somebody contacted me on Instagram and said, "Hey, we're doing a women's retreat in Sedona, and we're looking for someone to do a cacao ceremony." And my head right away said, "No, I'm not doing that." And something in my heart, something in my intuition, all of a sudden it was like a voice that came in. I believe it was my ancestors that said, "You're going to do this cacao ceremony." And so I said, "Oh, I'm available." I didn't tell her I'd never done a cacao ceremony before.
Wow.
So I started researching, and I found a cacao that's sourced from Mexico, and I'll share that in a little bit. And I started learning about it. And then I started receiving messages, and I was in the shower one day, and I was like, when you're in the ceremony, you're going to do a drum journey, a shamanic drum journey, and you're going to do something that you're going to channel through the heart, and we're going to journey to see what the wound is on the female lineage of the heartbreak, whether it was mother, grandmother, great-grand. So I was told what I was going to do in the ceremony. So I go to the ceremony, there's 15 beautiful women, and something just comes over me. I'm in the ceremony, something just comes, it was just powerful. And in the middle of the ceremony, I was also told, it was like a 7:00 ceremony. We were done probably at 10, that, I was told, "You're going to be up very late. You need to make yourself available afterwards for the women." And so I told everybody that. I was up till 2 a.m. that day, because woman after woman came up to me and said, "Oh my God, Bird, this is what I received." This was, and one of the women there came up to me and she said, "Bird, I've been a medium since I was a little girl. I've had this gift all my life." And she said, "I saw so many ancestors around you. I've never seen anything like it in my life." So it was I knew then that this was my guidance. So when I started learning about cacao, everybody likes chocolate, right?
Right.
This is where chocolate comes from. The indigenous peoples of Central and South America were communing with cacao for thousands of years. And what's powerful about that is that cacao, they called it the food of the gods. It's actually a heart opener. This is the magic of cacao. It will help you heal your heart, open your heart, all this. But beyond that, it has like 200 nutrients. It's highly nutritious. It helps with anxiety, helps with depression. It's actually a mood elevator. So, this is why in its colonized form, right, we still grab the chocolate when we're depressed, right? Because it actually has, and that only has a small percentage of pure cacao. And it also gives you energy. It has something called theobromine. It's a little bit of caffeine, but theobromine, which gives you energy throughout the day. But for me, like cacao, it's like a communion, like the cacao knows me. And even like I've had cacao in the evening, thinking, oh, I have a lot to do. I'm going to be up late. Like, let me sit with and have a little ceremony, cacao myself, and expecting that I'm going to be up late because it energizes. And I'll be asleep in 20 minutes. It's almost like the cacao knows me. And it's like, no.
Oh, wow.
You are exhausted. You are not. So she's really, really powerful medicine. And cacao was more popular. I'm going to say popular. It was more valuable than gold. They traded with cacao, the indigenous people of Mexico. So they understood that this is powerful medicine. They respected it. And so when the Spaniard came, let me just tell the story. When the Spaniard came, they saw the indigenous peoples of Americas. And for example, Hernan Cortes saw in Mexico having this bitter beverage because they didn't have a lot of sweetener. I think sometimes they had a little bit of honey and such, but usually not. And Hernan Cortes actually writes about it. He said, we have this bitter beverage that I can give to my soldiers and it will energize them all day and they can walk for miles. They were so impressed with the energy and what it did for them. They brought it back to Europe. They added sugar and they added milk to it. And the most elite men in the world at that time gathered together for chocolate houses, and they would have their chocolate and they would talk for hours and hours, and then they got hungry. So they ordered in food. So that's how restaurants are born. Later on, that's how bars morphed into. So actually the precursor, not just for chocolate, but for restaurants. There is a prophecy that when humanity gets off balance, cacao comes to help open the heart and help balance. I actually think it's the second time. I think the first time was these men at that time that were ruling the world and they were going into places and were colonizing and were doing things without hearts. I think it opened their hearts up enough that, let me just put it the way I think humanity survived because of cacao. Like so even our forefathers of the United States, they were drinking cacao, and it would have been the way that they compare cacao now. They take the cacao, they take the bean. Let me actually, I have a bean here. They dry it, and they will separate the powder from the fat content. That's how they make modern day chocolate. But the fat content has 95% of the healing properties. So back in the day, they were having pretty pure cacao.
Wow.
And, you take this and you smash it and you can make a powder of it. So if you go to the Cacao Chocolate House in New Mexico, they actually have like a Jeffersonian blend, a Thomas Jefferson.
Oh my gosh.
And Frank had his own blend. So this is something that was been used, but it's, for me, life-changing medicine.
That is quite an incredible tale about cacao. I had no idea. It makes me want to gather the current leaders and offer such a heart-opening, medicine. And I do have to say, I have sat with cacao with you. It was a very special opportunity for me. I think that for me, it has such a calming sensation, but yes, this heart opener where you can't help but feel more present and connected. And yeah, I was going to also share when I was in Costa Rica, having doing my psilocybin training, we sat with Cacao after our larger ceremonies the next day. And it was such a beautiful way to start the day and any sort of conversation or integration about these fantastical experiences or hard experiences that we had in the days leading up to it. And it was in itself such a beautiful ceremony because it's, we each poured our own glass and handed it down the line. And it was, again, just so powerful and heart opening and just, a way to soften. We all need to just sometimes soften up. So that story is so impressive. And thank you for sharing. It's kind of makes you think in today's day and age, what some of these super safe and beneficial medicines can do. I was curious. So thank you for sharing. Yes. I love to hear when people share their gifts, and you were receiving messages to work with Cacao. That is so special to me. And thank you for sharing that. I feel like we need to celebrate, sometimes these knowings or these gifts that we receive. And I think you have such a beautiful way of celebrating and sharing your gifts. I kind of wanted to transition into, let's talk about in a world of chaos and with our nervous systems being so unregulated. I think more and more there's more talk and ideas around mindfulness practices and people like yourself just sharing some of these wisdoms. I know that you offer some trainings. Do you have any conversation or would you like to share about some of the work that you do kind of from that perspective with breath work, meditation, and any maybe tips and tricks for the listeners where we can just take pause and find some sort of peace in these wild times?
Yes. Let me speak before about these times. You see, I purposely wore this with the rainbows in it. And this is indigenous from Mexico with the rainbows. So there's an indigenous prophecy, and there's prophecies like the Toltec, the Mayan. A lot of cultures have prophesied this time. One of the prophecies is called the time of the Rainbow Warriors, or the time of the sixth sun. And what it says is that during these times, the rainbow people will come together and help transform the world. Well, what is a rainbow person? A rainbow person is somebody that is walking the healing journey and has started to heal their chakras, right? So when you start healing, you have to look at the root chakra and you're like, oh my God, talk about like not being regulated and have the nervous system, like this is root chakra. Like, how do we not feel safe in the world? Like a lot of us don't feel safe, right? Feel safe in, just our bodies, feel safe in the world, feel safe in relationship, feel safe, making money, doing what we love to do, feel safe actually being who we really be, right? Mm-hmm. When you start looking at the different things and you start that healing journey, you become a rainbow warrior. So when we see what's so hard in the world, and yes, I love that you mentioned this, Maggie, that all of us are going through it, right? All of us are in this transformation, right? Mm-hmm. It's like we are being, if we can take a look, trauma lives in the DNA. They've proven this. This is not like a woo-woo thing. This has been scientifically proven that trauma can live in the DNA up to 14 generations. I believe it can live longer than 14 generations. Basically, it lives in the DNA until somebody heals it. So what happens is that something horrific in the lineage happened, right? And it keeps getting passed down and passed down and passed down and passed down until, the ancestors didn't have time. They didn't have luxury. They had to survive. Like something horrific happened and then they had to survive, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it was too awful to experience. So they just be like, I can't do it. Let me shove that down. And some of that, you can even look at what your parents went through, your grandparents. Some of it's really recent because it keeps getting passed. and then it shows up within us, right? And so a lot of times we're not feeling safe, and we don't even, sometimes it's what we've gone through, because all of us have gone through things in our own lives, but sometimes it's like we don't even know why we feel so anxious. We don't even know why we don't feel safe, because a lot of times it's the stuff that's passed on from generation to generation. So the work is, and I think when we talk about nervous system, like, start with the root chakra, start with, how do you feel safe? And even start like noticing, do I feel safe, right? And like, this is why I like to work with cacao, is because cacao actually helps me heal my heart, and it helps me feel safe in my heart. Because a lot of times what happens with our heart is that we don't feel safe, and what do? We shut it. We shut it, right? I mean, most humans end up dying over something heart-related. Other parts of the body will actually take the weight, and it'll show up. It might not look like it's the heart, but they'll take the weight of whatever's going on to protect the heart, right? So when we do this, it's actually helping our heart, and that heart energy will actually go down and help us feel safe, in our lower chakras. So I'm going to actually go over, I like to show how to prepare cacao, but I want to go over like a heart meditation, and, doing the breath work. I mean, there's so many different things, but you want to start basic. You don't have to do like the big fancy things. And this is why I like cacao, because I feel like cacao, she's gentle, and she's really powerful. So you can choose, am I going to have a little bit of cacao today? Am I going to have a lot of cacao? And also for me, working with cacao is also communication between me and the other plants, right? We have forgotten, we just go to the stores and we have all this processed food and all this stuff. We've forgotten that food is medicine, right? All of the plants, they all each have a different medicine. Lavender is healing. If you're going to have cacao will help with the anxiety. If you're feeling anxious, cacao will actually help. But if you have cacao and you're feeling extra anxious, have some cacao with some lavender, boil up some lavender tea, and have some cacao with the lavender. I often, when I'm feeling like, oh my God, there's so much going on in the world right now, I need to feel safe within my body, because I can't lead others if I feel safe. If I don't feel safe myself, then I'm going to have a mixture that has got some mushroom powders, some reishi.
The functional mushrooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all the other kind of culinary kind of mushrooms, right? I will have those because they're really grounding and helping me ground. So for me, it's kind of a communication between that. So.
Before we get into, maybe some examples of modalities, were you going to mention that this year, or is there something special about this year and the chaos surrounding it? Is it a Mars year? I know I love your expertise and wisdom. So I would just, if we could kind of like frame up what this year, for our listeners, it's a big year, right?
Yes. Well, it is a big year. So in my training, I'm trained in planetary vibrations, which the way I was taught is zodiac's at the base plane, and planetary vibrations are higher because when we're born, we're closer to the planets than to the stars. And this is based on the Kabbalah, based on old Egyptian knowledge about know thyself. And then I'm also trained in Mesoamerican readings as well, and so there's two different things, okay? So in planetary, we are in Mars year this year. Okay. And Mars is around fire, right? So fire is about transformation, right? And fire can either manifest as anger and aggression and war, and like we can burn things down with fire. Fire, fire actually, the energy of Mars is actually the sacred masculine, like the sacred masculine, who is the protector of all life, right? So this energy is coming up. What are we going to do? Are we going to burn things down? Are we going to be angry? Are we going to take those things and are we going to protect life? And like, are we going to either be the burning fire that rages and destroys everything, or are we going to be the gentle candle flame?
Mm-hmm.
Like all spirituality and religions, and have the gentle candle flame, right? Where we're calm. So it's this transformation. I mean, we're in this time right now of transformation. So when we see things going on, you know, in your own life, sometimes you don't change until things have to burn up. I know when I was in an abusive marriage, I stayed for so many years because I was used to, you know, being treated that way. I was used to not being safe, right? So, and finally it got so much that I had to make a choice, right? I was going to either burn in it, or I was going to so sometimes that happens. And we feel like we're being, you know, Rumi talks about this, the poet Rumi talks about like, there's a poem, Chickpea to Cook. And, you know, he takes a chickpea and throws a chickpea, and the chickpea is burning. You think, I'm torturing you. I'm actually cooking you so you can have spice and vitality, right? You know?
I see.
And that's kind of this transformation. So we're in that. And then in like the Toltec way or the Mayan way, we are in the time of the sixth sun right now. It's a time that they have prophesied, kind of like the time of the Rainbow Warriors. I know that, you know, some of the indigenous from North America talk about it's a time of the white buffalo, and some white buffaloes have been born this last year. It's a time where humans connect with their hearts, connect with each other, connect with the earth, connect with the animals, and start having this shift where we're all connected. We have been disconnected from community, with each other, with our own hearts for a long time. I mean, I think this is like, you know, we see what's going on with Gaza right now, and you see the children starving. Like, what does that tell us? Are we human? Like, do we care? Right? Like, oh my goodness, like this is what's happening. And that child is our child, right? You know, we are all connected. And sometimes when we see all this chaos, it's teaching us, wake up.
Yeah.
Your sister, that's your brother. We're one person. And you see this even with how we treat animals. You see this connection where people are connecting with, you know, the animals are connected to us. They feel when they're separated from their young, they feel the trees are connected. They are alive. They're all sentient beings, and we've forgotten. So, you know, it's that. So this is the time that, so, and then when I was talking about the trauma, I have to back when I was talking about that we've all been through this trauma. What's happening right now with us going through a lot of emotional pain is that we're actually taking, it's almost like we've had this backpack of all this shitty trauma in our own lives and our parents' lives and our grandparents and generations and we don't even know what most of that stuff is, right? And even of our own lives, a lot of times we've just shoved it down. And we're walking through life with this whole backpack of trauma. This transformation is allowing us to go through it and feel it, because a lot of times we have to feel it. So we can just take that and we can go, whoosh, take it off, so that now we can be free. Because a lot of times the trauma and the stuff that we haven't felt is what's preventing us from having a heart for another person, caring about the earth, caring about each other, right? Is all the trauma. So we're all being transformed. We're all going through our own fires. But when you see this in the world, yes, there's a lot of hard stuff. And I remain optimistic that humans are going to unite, and we're going to heal, and we are going towards this time. So many traditions talk about it. The Indian, the end of the Kali Yuga, was 13,000 years of darkness. The Toltec, the Mayan talk about 6,000 years of darkness and injustice, and we're moving into a new time of justice. But we're transformed. We've been in it. It's kind of like moving out the matrix, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, I think it begins with awareness, right? And so many of us, myself included, I was not aware until I had psychedelic medicine that I was able to take pause, tune in, tap inward to, I've been referring it to my inner kingdom, and working with my energy and the field and, you know, connecting. So I love any conversation around all of this. And it really truly is about all of the interwoven modalities. Medicine is just one. But yeah, I would love to kind of, if you do have a little mini heart meditation or mantra or anything for our listeners, I would love to take part, and only if you're feeling called to share.
Let's do that. I know we don't have too much time. I'm going to do a little mini lesson on preparing cacao, and then we're going to go into, because I am also a teacher. One of I'm trained in lots of healing modalities and powerful in the work I do, but I can help more people if I teach people what I do. So I like to teach people how all my tools. This is Kokopelli. He was a tool carrier. This is the symbol of the Southwest. If you've traveled through the Southwest, you'll see throughout, Arizona and the Southwest. Kokopelli was actually Toltec. He was actually from Mexico, and he traveled throughout the Southwest because back then that was just all one land. And he had his hunchback was his bag of tools, right? So this is what I like to do. I like to have my tools. And breath work is one tool. My meditation is one tool. My cacao, I have lots of different tools. My cacao is one tool, and my heart meditation. So I'm going to just quickly talk about cacao. So I showed you the bean, right? It comes from the bean. I like to source my cacao. This is one of the places I like. They source it from Mexico. It's Cocolaca. But this is a mixed love bubble that is mixed with roses, for example.
Wow.
And so you can just have it like this. Another one has a medicina is mixed with different form of, culinary kind of mushrooms. And so there's different blends, right? And you can start with a small amount of cacao. You want to start with a tablespoon. It's just a small amount, or up to 4 tablespoons.
Oh, okay.
3 or 4 tablespoons is more of a ceremonial amount. You feel it. Start small, because cacao affects us in different kind of ways. We might think, oh my goodness, I can do all this other stuff, like I'm fine, and you might have one, and it might really hit your heart. Some people don't feel anything until they do 4. But it doesn't, it's going to always connect with your heart. So I will have that. You want to have it with high vibration water. I always take water. I always have a glass container, and I put, thank you, I love you, thank you, amor, love. Emoto from, the Japanese scientist studied water, and when you write words on it, especially thank you is actually the most high vibration, it changes the water molecule. So I like to do that. I like to start with high vibration water, and you want to boil it. I usually boil it and let it set, because you want the water hot but not boiling, because it'll destroy some of the properties, some of the healing properties. So have the hot water, and then you can blend it. And I like to have different things with my cacao. So for example, since I was a little girl, I love lilac. So I harvested some lilacs this year.
Oh, wow.
I'll have a lilac tea. It's really calm, heart centering. So just feel into, you can do anything, explore. Like the cacao that I'm having today has some oregano and some mint from the garden that I was just called to have, has some amaranth, which is an ancient grain from Mexico as well.
Okay.
And so I will just listen. And then I also, a lot of times if you go to a regular cacao ceremony, you feel that it's pretty bitter, doesn't have the sweetener. One of my medicines is actually working with joy. Why? Because when I was young, I didn't feel a lot of joy. I was very serious. I carried a lot of pain. And my part of my life purpose is to learn joy. So because of that, my guess is that if you, in my space, part of your purpose is to learn joy too. So Hummingbird represents joy and the ancestors and following your bliss. So when I prepare cacao, and if you come to one of my ceremonies someday, or to one of my retreats, I will mix cacao with maybe some honey or some maple syrup or some dates to give it some of that sweetness. And that's what I did with you, Maggie. We had some sweetness with it. And you don't have to have it that way. But I'll have different kind of spices. So the traditional way in Mexico is to have the cinnamon and the cayenne. Cayenne's really lovely because it actually helps to absorb all the nutrients quicker and better.
Oh, okay.
So for me, it's just a communication between that and the plant. So let's say we've prepared cacao together, and then you want to prepare the cacao. What you want to do is hold the cacao to your heart. And you guys, I invite you right now, if you want to grab some water, because water is really holy and high vibration, or if you have some tea, but just grab some water right now, because water is amazing. I'm going to just take a few inhales into the heart. What we're going to do is we're going to inhale into our heart space and kind of inhale belly, chest, throat, really fill up. Imagine this beautiful light is hitting our heart and filling up our heart. I want you to inhale a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. When you think you can't receive more, you're going to sip in a little bit more. Hold it there for a moment. And then I want you just to gently exhale, just releasing any stress. You can inhale mouth if that feels right, or inhale nose, whichever feels good for you. Just release any stress or anxiety from the day. I'm going to take another deep inhale into our belly, chest, throat. Just imagine like you're filling up a balloon. And you're going to receive. When you inhale, you help to receive. Inhaling actually also helps with anger, right? And we're in this Mars year, so some of us may be feeling a lot of anger might be coming up. So inhale. And a lot of us are still learning how to receive. We're good at giving, we're good at doing, but we're not so good at being and receiving. So just inhale more, receive. Just feel receiving this love into your heart, receive. And inhale a little bit more. Think you can't receive anymore, sip in a tiny bit more. And hold it for a second. And again, exhale anything that's been blocking your heart. I'm going to do one last really deep inhale, belly, chest, throat. Inhale more, receive more. Imagine this light, this love filling up your heart. Receive more, and this is unconditional love. This love filling up your heart. Receive more, inhale a little bit more, a little bit more. And again, when you think you can't receive any more, you get to receive a tiny bit more. Hold. And again, exhale. I want you just to take a moment, sit with your heart. And I want you to bring to mind something that you feel gratitude for, someone or something. Just feel what right now, no matter what you're going through, you're grateful for. It could be your child or your pet, or flowers outside your window, breeze, anything. Feel that gratitude. And then I want you to feel somebody you feel cared for. Someone or something you have cared for. The next, somebody or something you feel compassion for. Maybe someone that's really gone through a hard time right now. Another person in a part of the world that is going through these hardships. Just feel. And in this space, bring to mind a memory, a thought, a time of love, a time of joy, a time of gratitude. Just fill it up. We're going to fill up our heart. Really, just feel those feelings. So inhale more and inhale more. Receive a little bit more. Hold it there. As we exhale, we're going to send this love energy to somebody we love. You can send it to them. And it might be someone that's here or someone that's transitioned or someone that lives in another part of the world. Our hearts are more powerful than our brains, thousands and thousands of times more powerful than our brains. They're more powerful than this internet, than our phones. Our heart energy is stronger. The heart is a new frontier. We've only started to begin to understand the power of the heart. So now feel them receiving that heart energy. And now feel them sending the love back to you. Even if it's someone that's no longer here or someone that's estranged, feel it coming back to you. Fill up with their love and then send it back to them as you exhale. And as you inhale, feel it receiving it again. And now we're going to inhale some more again. Just a little bit more. This time as we exhale, we're going to send it to somebody who's suffering in the world. Feel, it can be a person, it can be an animal, it can be a sentient being from the earth, tree. Just feel you're going to send that love energy to this other sentient being in the world, this other human. And I want you to feel them receiving it. Maybe it touches them so much that it brings tears to their eyes. And then I want you, they're going to send it back to you. As you inhale, you're receiving the love back. So it's creating a wave between you. Because we're all connected and our hearts connect us. I'm going to send it out and back. And we're going to fill up one last time, powerful into our heart. Receiving a little bit more, and a little bit more, and a little bit more. Receiving a little bit more. Hold it for a moment. This time as we exhale, we're going to send it to somebody in the world who has a hardened heart. Somebody that has blocked their heart and maybe can't feel. And it can be someone you know or someone you know of. Someone political or somebody in your family that has hurt you. You fill up a little bit more. And now we're going to send that heart energy out to this person. And you're going to feel it hitting their heart. Maybe it's softening it a little bit. And I want you to feel that in some type of way, you're sending back love back to you. Because love flows. Do that one more time. And this one is especially powerful because when we see someone that has a blocked heart, right? The only thing that can, another blocked heart, and you come in with a blocked heart, won't change that. It's not helping. It's kind of like darkness. We'll just need more darkness. But light, which is love, can break through everything because it doesn't matter how dark it is. If you bring a little bit of light, it's no longer dark. It's light, right? Okay. I'm going to receive it back. And now just for a moment, I want you just to connect into your heart space. Just breathe slower than usual. And I'm going to ask your heart a question, and you're going to listen. And your heart speaks in really simple words, you know, like a 4-year-old would say, or a 5-year-old, because the young ones are really connected to the hearts, right? If you get a big, complicated answer, a long sentence, it's probably your mind. And if you get that, you can thank your mind. Say, thank you, mind. And you can tell your mind, I'm going to send you on a little rest, a little vacation. Maybe send your mind to Costa Rica for a moment or send her to the beach. And you ask again, heart. I'm going to ask in a moment, but listen to the simple answer. And if you don't receive the answer, there's no judgment. You've planted the seed of the question, and it will come to you in perfect timing. Heart, heart, what do I need right now? Heart, heart, what do I need right now? Just listen. And again, if you don't receive anything, you've planted a seed, it'll come in time. The next question is going to be heart, heart. How can I remain calm? How can my nervous system calm? What do I need to calm myself? Two more questions that are coming through. Sometimes channel what I'm being told. This isn't pre-planned. So the next one is heart, heart. How do I heal my heart? How do I heal the pain and the grief and the sadness and the anger? How do I heal my heart? Just listen. And finally, heart, heart. How do I love more? Just listen. We just listen for a moment and just continue in this space. I'm going to show you a little bit when I'm communing with Cacao. I will actually kind of be in this space, and I will ask some of the questions. Sometimes I will ask will be, like for example, if I'm going into a situation with a family member that there's been a lot of conflict, I will just ask Cacao. And it's Ishel, it's one of the goddesses of Cacao. Cacao is connected to Jaguar, which is about transformation, and it's the divine feminine. She's very connected to the divine feminine. This is a feminism. And the feminine is about like being and receiving, right? And being in your power. But I'll ask, help me be in this space and show up with love. Just help me be in this space with love. That would be my prayer. Help me show up with love. And I will sit with Cacao, and then I will drink Cacao, and I'll just be in a space of reverence and thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Cacao. You know, thank you, Great Spirit, is what like I like to call God. And you know, thank you. Thank you, thank you. And then I will watch. And then sometimes I will just ask, like, what do I need to know? Or open my intuition. And oftentimes after I've sat with Cacao, like I will go for a walk. I'll commune with Cacao gently, and then I'll go for a walk, and then I just receive. Like I'll get messages, like I'll have knowings, or I know. For example, during the elections, I sat with Cacao a lot of the day, and I just asked, how do I serve? How do I serve? So listen to the questions that your heart needs, and ask, and then listen, right? And sometimes you don't get the answers. Some of you, the questions I asked you, you might get them randomly. You might be driving and it might come, right? You might be taking a shower and it might come, or you might go for a walk, or it might be in your dream tonight, right? So listen, all of you have your own gifts, your own way of receiving, your own medicine within yourself and in the world. And, just be really gentle with yourself during these times, patient, and sit and be gentle with your heart. She's really powerful, so powerful.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of powerful, I think that when we take time, I'm just so surprised. Here we are virtually. And for me, I just had such a beautiful, I don't know, kind of experience just now. And yeah, I just love how these medicines, I think they all along the same line. It's, when we're using them intentionally and the more that we're sitting with and respecting the idea that they can provide answers and messages to us, and open to that idea, right? We can receive their magic. I just wanted to take this opportunity to chat about that, about, working virtually. It's something that I've started to incorporate in my practice, and I'm just kind of blown away with how powerful these experiences can be, because I feel like we're more in tune, or, cutting out the noise and kind of sitting with the pieces at hand. I'd love to hear your thoughts on working, everything's frequency, right?
Everything is frequency. And I believe, all of us have our gifts. And Megan, I think this is one of your gifts too. I realized early on in my work that I really connect. I mean, I could even, before I really started working with clients one-on-one, actually, I call everyone I work, I call them my students, all my students, right? Because you're all learning. I realize that this is one of my gifts. I can feel energy. Even on social media, I can feel a person's energy that way. And so because of that, and I believe you have that as well, I know I can work really powerfully that way. And for me, it's really beautiful because I'm also channeling a lot of times. Things are coming through to me. And there's something about kind of in that zone. It's kind of like, our hearts are connected, right? And when our hearts are connected, it's almost like the frequency of the internet, the frequency of this phone, all this technology is connected to the vibrations. It's a vibration, right? And our hearts are vibrations. So I actually prefer, I like working, if it's like a ceremony sometimes, but like I like to work online. I feel like my messages are just as powerful, sometimes even more powerful this way. So,
Wow.
Yeah. So
That's so powerful because it just brings me hope too. We don't all have the resources to find this next retreat, or, I really appreciate just like real time, solutions, whether it's a simple mantra or breath technique, or, connecting virtually. So thank goodness for technology. But it is amazing to hear you say that as someone who's been working with people for such a long time. But yeah, that was such a beautiful, beautiful meditation. And I love reminding myself and everyone about just how powerful our hearts are, and how we're just starting to scratch the surface and understanding coherence with the brain and all of these things. So I find any opportunity to talk and experiment, sitting with Cacao, which is a heart opener, and your wisdom is just so great. And I'm just feeling so blessed to have you here today. I wanted to, let's talk about some of your offerings and what you are putting together. I think I saw recently that you are doing something on Monday nights just in support of, well, you tell us, what do you have going on?
I've been sitting with Cacao and asking, like, how do I serve during these times? And what I received, one of the things is, because for me, it's important to work with everybody. Like I like in my bloodline, I come from the people, right? And like, I want to serve the people. So I created a Miracle Monday. And it is about like rising above the chaos we feel within ourselves in the world, and becoming part of the miracle of a heart-based world. Because we see all this stuff going on and it feels like impossible. Like, how can this not happen? But I want to be in this high vibration of like, let's create miracles. Let's create the miracle of a heart-based world. Let's create the miracle of us being healed and whole. So this is a free offering, and I just started this small. I'm going to be doing it. I'm going to be doing it all year long, maybe continually for years. I don't know, but I really feel I want this to be a space to grow. And I'm also calling in everybody. My intention is also to have more men coming in the space as well, because we all of us, this is everyone's welcome, and it's something that's going to grow. But yeah, that's one of my offerings, and it's a way for us to stay high vibration, because so many of us support so many people, and as we heal, a lot of times we're just supporting so many people, and all of us need support. All of us need a high vibration space where we can gather. Community is so important when we can gather, and then we can show up. Because if we're not supported, then like how can we? We have to give from our overflow. So that's the intention with that. So that's my Miracle Mondays.
Love it. And for anyone interested and anyone listening, we'll provide a link in the show description, so we can have you find Miracle Monday and witness what it's all about. Are there any other offerings? Or
yes. Since we're talking about medicine women, I'm doing the first annual gathering of the medicine women. This is going to be in Sedona in March, and it's going to be me and 4 others. And what's really beautiful about this is that the 4 other women are women that I have mentored over the years. And so it's really important for me when I work with people, I do mentoring. So that's another thing. You can contact me. I do group mentoring and one-on-one mentoring. My intention is to help you, to teach you whatever tools. And I know, because I'm 56 years old, so I have been around this world for quite a while. A lot of wisdom, kind of the hard way, and I'm very well educated in lots of different ways as well. But that will be, the intention is for you to connect with your ancestral gifts. So that retreat will shift your life in the most powerful ways. And it's in my favorite place in the world, in Sedona. So just the land is there. So that is one. The other one is if you go to my website, and you can find all this on my website, Miracle Mondays and the retreat. I do one-on-one services as well. So some of it you can do mentoring with me, but I also do Mesoamerican planetary chart readings. I put them together. So it ends up being a 90-minute session that will help you for the rest of your life. Like I'm telling you, like when I learned my vibration, my planetary, and then I learned my daughter, I completely changed the way I looked at her. She was 11 years old when I figured it out. I was like, oh my God, we're going to go to war. If I don't, like this isn't going to work. So I completely changed the way I parented my daughter at 11 years old. When I found that out, it's helped me so much. And then I mixed the Mesoamerican, because the Mesoamerican chart reading, so this is the Mayan and the Tunapawali, which is from Mexico. They were similar in lots of ways. Their charts readings talk about like what your life purpose is. How can be useful the community. So like, for example, in Mexico, by the time a child was 7 years old, they were trained by the elders that had these gifts. So when I discovered mine, I sat with it for like months, and I was like, oh my God, because I have all these gifts and I'm really good at it. It really made me understand. I'm like, oh, it's like anytime someone works with me, this is the first thing I do is I do your Mesoamerican and I do your planetary, because you have to know thyself. A lot of times we're trying to do this stuff, but when you know yourself, oh my God, it shifts. Like, for example, my secondary is Saturn. Saturn can bring out melancholy, can bring out depression, it can bring out anxiety. I discovered that. I was like, I stopped waking up in the morning sad and depressed and be like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? Now I wake up, and when I'm feeling that way, I'm like, oh, my Saturn's kicking in today.
Yeah.
Tools for my Saturn. And I'm like, okay, I have to learn tools to help with this. But if you don't know what's in your chart and what gifts and also what challenges you have, then it makes it harder to know what tools to gather. So that's something I highly recommend.
And I just have to interject. The first time I sat with you, we didn't really know each other, but that was the first thing, you spent a small chunk of time explaining to me many things that helped me, really understand myself, my energy more, my hummingbird mind, but then reinforced as I started looking into human design and the gene keys. It just really helped put into perspective why, I'm a triple sun, I believe, which helped make a lot more clear, and helping me feel I guess, validated in some of my life choices as far as career and things like this. So yeah, just for the listeners, just spending any amount of time with Bird really helps you start. I mean, if you're just starting on your journey, especially to understand some of these aspects about yourself, which traditional astrology might not be showing us. So yeah, forever grateful for that first initial time we had together. It's seriously, it was needed at that exact moment too. And we talk about, just how we met, connected. It's such a magical story, but yeah, I think that people, you have so much to offer with all of the things. And I think that it would be a valuable conversation for people to learn more about themselves. So, but I didn't want to cut you off. If you have anything else to offer, or to probably wrap up this amazing hour that we've had together, any words?
Well, two quick things.
Yes.
The other thing that you can do with me is I do intuitive guidance. I'm very intuitive. So like, that's even when I met you, right? Like, I know when I meet somebody, I'm like, oh, this is what their need. Like and it comes through. Like, I was told years ago that I'm a messenger, way before I even knew any of this stuff, right? Like, messages come through. So just sometimes it's really helpful for us to have guidance. And the other thing that I want to leave with is that you watching this, you have everything within yourself that you need, right? So, I mean, that's like that's the base of my teaching, is that I want to teach you your gifts and your stuff so you can rely on yourself. Because so many times we're going to other people and to all this help. The goal is eventually to get yourself. Yeah, sometimes we need that, and we all need support and community, always. We're not supposed to be alone, but it's really powerful. And, the medicines, like cacao helps you, Los Niños Santos, the mushrooms, that's what we call it in Mexico, Los Niños Santos. That's another beautiful tool. Like, they're teaching you how to listen and go with yourself. So I just want you to know that you hold the power. No matter what you're going through right now, you are going to get through this, and you're okay, and you are loved, and you are supported. Hang in there. It's a powerful time, but you are needed in this world, and you're needed. You need you first.
I love that. That is such a beautiful message for everyone. We all know we need to hear it and be reminded, and such a beautiful reminder. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate your beauty, your wisdom. You look great. I love what you showed up wearing today and how it resonated with part of the conversation. It's so good to see you, Bird, and we will be keeping in touch. And again, for anyone listening, tuning in, I will have notes and descriptions on how to connect with Bird in real time. And thank you all so much for checking out Minds on Mushrooms, and we will see you next time. Thank you, Bird.
I love you. Thank you.
Love you, sister. Mwah. Thank you. Thank you. For more information, please visit mindsonmushrooms.com. Thank you for joining the journey.